dots means importance.
Yeah.
You know, I need it. I mean, I
Hey,
didn't know.
everybody. Sorry, Glenn. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Hey, everybody. It's December 11th. So just a real quick before we do EMD and Gap, which we were going to do on Wednesday, but since Glenn's able to make it tonight, we're going to do it tonight. And that way, Wednesday, we're going to cover, Kevin and I will cover that Corporate Transparency Act, which is going into effect. It's really important. So anybody that's watching, really get on there because this deals with LLCs and the government's doing some really stupid shit, like
Yeah.
they always do. So we're going to cover it in depth. I'm trying to get a few more documents and stuff together. Just I want to be up on it because I'm not as it's not something I'm used to discussing. So
Well, it makes two of us.
yeah, so guys, next week we'll meet on Monday and Wednesday, and then we're off for the following 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's. We come back in January. I will have probably about 20 videos on Agents Gather that I'm going to make during that time. So it'll be like in our group there. So everybody will want to be on there. And then Danny had some stuff about like if we're posting lending stuff, don't be posting 0% or anything. I mean, even if you have it, just to kind of because the algorithm for Google is not so Agents Gather is not like doing it's a real time once it's real time, and I mean it's constantly indexing because once we have a lot more traffic, it'll skip right over it. But while it's still building, it'll pick up on that, and and it's not really Google; it's actually his payment processor. So and then everybody remember there's a 99-cent join there. It's just to cut out spammers and people like that. Once you're in there, once you join it, just hit him up, tell him you're in the group, and he'll upgrade you to premium, which is like normally $15 a month. Then you guys can set a group up and all that stuff. And he's got some videos on up there now that explain some things like how to get things called markdown and how to do things with hashtags to really so that way you put your business, no matter what you're doing, if you're brokering, wholesaling, flipping, whatever, you can be on the first page of Google pretty quick. He can actually he'll SEO it probably the next day. You'll be first page. You'll be first page on Google. You can usually get 2 or 3 in the first page or two. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about EMD and Gap. So I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and screen share real quick. They moved a few things around, so I've got to since the last time I was here. So let me go ahead and start with I'm going to start first with the EMD Gap Investor. So this will be for give me 1 second. I have to do that stupid damn thing. Well, I think I'm gonna try to figure that out, so I don't have to keep hitting it twice like I've been doing. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is for if you're a funding investor. So I don't know if there's anything really we need to clarify on this document, Glenn.
No, this is actually for the investors that
Yeah,
is wanting to come in, right?
yeah, but I'm
This
wanting
is
to show
like,
it. Yeah, we do have some people associates who do want to do that still. So I want to
okay,
make sure I can show that to them. So I just want to make sure, and then it's obviously in the files tab, so people can pull it up. So
right,
so just to kind of be open book and say this is what somebody who wants to fund EMD or Gap guys, and then
correct.
obviously you got the in the red down there completed form sent to Gwen at her email. So like I said, and we'll go over more for the funders, second position most of the time. I mean, I rarely would ever see it being in the first position being Gap, but EMD will be I don't know. We'll talk about that in a minute. Since we really don't need to go over this form too much, I'll go to the other two forms, and then we can talk about any of the procedures and what's going on with it because it's a really important program, guys. It's just we'll go over. I may not have pulled up the Gap. Let me see if I did that or not.
Let's see.
All right, I think I might need to go to. I think I need to go to real quick. I need to go to a different file. I gotta go to a different file.
Or I can send it to you real quick.
Yeah, I just saved it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just saved it, so I got it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put because that was in my other one. This one I just saved earlier.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let me. Okay, it did pull it up. Cool. All right, guys. So if you want to explain, because people have asked about the red
Yes,
asterisk.
okay, all right, so the client's name, and the client's name is whom, I use Willie. Willie is the client, okay? He's the client. Nate brought Willie to me. Nate is being the representative, right? I need to have all Nate's contact information because once I start communicating with, in regards to this gap funding, I need to know who I am communicating with. If there's not a representative, skip that line, right? It's non-applicable. But then when we go down to, do you have a signed purchase agreement? That asterisk, it says attached via email. So that's stating that I need a copy of your PSA. I need a copy of your term sheet. I need a copy of your rehab budget, if that is all applicable when you send me this intake form. So it's pretty like straightforward. Tell me how long you need this EMD. Don't say, I need you to be accurate. If it's 90 days, say 90 days. If it's 6 months is now gap funding, right? But you need to be very specific in what it is that you are seeking. Because it's a process, it's different documents. If it's EMD, I have different people that has different return rates as well. So we have to be mindful of that when you send over your request. I would always reach out to everyone in the group. I know who has what, so I know where I can send this information to. The closing date. I understand that sometimes we're right up on the line, maybe 2 days. 2 days can make it very difficult if I have someone such as a Willie saying, well, I need to know more about this deal. I need more information, things like that, where an EMD is really just straightforward. You say you need this. If you give me all the documents, I get it over to Willie to assess, to say, okay, yeah, I want to get in on this deal. I want to JV on this deal with them or whatever. We'll get with the title company and get everything orchestrated. What I have been coming across is when people send over these EMD and or gap intake forms, they don't like to complete the process. They don't want to fill out the forms. They don't want to submit additional information such as PSAs, term sheets, and all of that kind of stuff. So in the interim, I can't do anything with anyone if you don't want to abide by the process. The process is not going to change at all, right? People need to just adhere to the process. And that's what I've been finding very difficult lately, of people wanting to follow through. So getting back to this form right here, make sure that you have the closing date and your exit strategy. Your exit strategy is extremely important because this then tells this investor how, the end result, right? Is it a refinance? Is it a buy and hold? Is it a wholesale or whatever? It's just that the form needs to be as detailed. I mean, as much information as you could put in the intake form, it would help me kind of direct on where I need to go. And again, it's an intake form. So if I say I need something in addition to this intake form, I need something in addition to the intake form. So it's all case by case.
Okay. And the other thing I was going to ask about was, if it's a wholesaler and it's being repaid out of the assignment fee, then should you put B to, repay off assignment fee on the B to C?
Yeah, and then they need to also make sure that I have the A to B and the B to C contracts as well. And see, that's what I'm saying. I have noticed over the last couple of requests that I have received, the process is not being followed. So you can't blame me that you don't have your money, is that you're not cooperating with the process. And that's where my frustration lies at, is because I'm trying to help everyone, but I'm facing a lot of resistance from people wanting to adhere to the process that's in place. And again, it's a process, and it's a work in process at that, right? So it's some fine tuning that I'm having to do to kind of critique it. a little bit more as we continue to move down. But if you're not willing to follow the process from the beginning, I can't help you. And, I just need to be very firm about that because I've been seeing a lot of messages going back and forth. It's not my fault that, we're not connecting. If I hit you up in the instant messenger and I don't hear back from you, but then I go in the group and say, oh, well, I contacted her. That's not the case because if you contact me, even Willie know he contacted me on my Saturday. Don't Saturdays is my football day, right? So with that being said, if I could take the time out to kind of keep things moving, then I kind of expect everyone to kind of either you're going to buy into the process or you're not, but so that's the only way that I can put it. The asterisk just means importance. That's why it's in red. I actually create training for a living, and it's bad to put things in red. It's almost like you're shouting, but in this case I need to shout because I'm not getting the information that I need to kind of get these people this money. And another thing as well, EMD and or Gap funding is attached to that property. Okay. So when it goes over to the title company do a sequential document. So Willie cannot sell that property until Nate is paid. That's it. And some people do not want it filed with the title company. If you don't want, I have to secure Nate, Willie, Sean, Zeke. I have to secure all of you guys' money. Okay. So in order to do that, it needs to go directly to title and be attached to that actual property. And there's late fees. And Willie didn't know that if you get 50,000 and you say you're getting back in 90 days, Willie has the opportunity to assess late fees on you. So we have to be mindful of all of those things too.
And people, this is a really good program. I mean, it's one of the key benefits of this whole program, and this came together organically. So, like I said, we definitely are. I'm gonna start posting again, trying to find people with money. I've talked to a bunch of people, but we need to make sure that they get frustrated, just like you guys get frustrated if you're asking for money. They get frustrated if they want to deploy their capital and they're not able to because it's a two-way street. I mean, it's like really I'm trying to go out and find all there's a lot of people out there. I'm gonna try to reach. I'm gonna be doing some stuff on Agents Gather with the SEO and stuff Danny's gonna do for me, and it's gonna actually hopefully try to bring some Gap and mainly Gap because EMD is somewhat different. I mean, they're two different animals. EMD should be a little bit simpler because it's more like you're doing on the assignment fees and stuff, and you're doing at the closing. But Gap is a little bit harder. And here's the thing: a lot of people are looking for Gap. You guys all know that. You guys are in the other groups. It's I'm trying to figure out. I want to try to make sure that we have a seamless process of bringing in both sides of it. That we have you guys. This is huge for the group. I mean, I don't think we're getting a lot of stuff, at least that I'm not. I'm trying to bring people into the group and all that stuff before they ever would get access to the money. Yeah.
With the Gap, and I think Willie and I communicated with this over the weekend. The difficulties with Gap is when we get over 6 months, people is hesitant to give you their money for a year. Okay.
Yep.
So that's where we're running into the problem because some of the requests that has come over, they're looking for like a year, 2, 3 years. And that's really, really difficult to tie up Willie's money for a year, and on top of you're tying up his money for a year and probably only paying him a 20% return on that money. So we have to be very mindful of that. One, our return has to reflect your deal. And I can't do anything about what Sean say his return is, what Willie says his return is, or Nate say his return is. The return is the return. So I've been getting a lot of combativeness going back and forth as well about the returns. I mean, you're asking for somebody else's money, you know? So they have a right to put taxation on you if deemed necessary. So, I mean, the EMD should be really smooth, straightforward. The gap, it depends on the deal. It depends on the leverage, right? We got to make sure that you're not over leveraged. It's one deal I had in. If you're at 80% already leveraged and you got to pay Willie 20%, you know what I mean? Your return is not good in that aspect. And some of these gap funders is not willing to put investors in a difficult situation. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to put my clients, because you guys is my clients, right? First and foremost, I'm not going to put you in a difficult situation. That's why it's important that I receive that term sheet. From when I say term sheet, and I saw a question about that in the chat as well. Willie has his own terms. But if you're coming and you say, I went got a hard money lender, you have a term sheet. I need that term sheet so then we can compare to see if it's going to fall in line to what the investors already have stated, you know, their return and the amount of money and time that you're looking for. So I wanted to really clarify while we're on this recording, everything that leads up to getting deals done. If we do it this way, the right way, we can get more people funded. We are getting more people in with EMD, but again, gap funding, 6 months to a year is just stretching a little bit, you know?
So,
And
so basically on our gap funding, we should just basically say we're not doing any more than 6 months.
I would say that that would be a correct statement for
I
right
think that's
now.
fair, yeah.
That's fair.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I've got a few that are doing it, and none of them are doing it for any longer than 6 months. And I'm just
Right.
like you. I already know their return rate,
Mhm.
and I already know how the length of time they will hold.
Mhm.
So I already asked the borrower, are you 6 months or less? And I know the return rate per month. I ask them if they're fine with that return. If they say yes, I shoot the details to the lender, and the lender says have them fill out my job form or whatever it is. They go, and then they go to underwriting. That's how they do it. I already know that none of them are holding any longer than 6 months. That's why
Correct.
I came to you with that year, because I know.
Yes. Yes.
So he was fine with the 6 month term, but at that point he was like, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm offering a 35% return, a property that I'll cross collateralize it with. Let's see if they'll do the deal. So
Okay.
once you guys set the standards of what they want, and we already know they're not going to be longer than 6 months, we shouldn't even be bringing you deals longer than 6 months. Anything over
Right.
6 months, they're looking for, as some of my other gurus have said, it's either a dolphin or a whale. They're looking for whales at that point if it's longer
Right.
than 6 months. Somebody that just wants a safe return. They're not really worried about the money. They're just looking for a return on their investment in X amount of time. But most of these gap lenders right now, they're not holding for longer than 6 months because, like you said, they're not wanting their money tied up. They could do 2 or 3 deals within a year. Why would they hold
Exactly.
it for a year? Why would they hold it for a year? That's a whale. They've
That's
got
right.
plenty of money, and they just want a steady return in that year. They're either trying to pay off their kids' college fund, whatever it is, but they know for a fact I can hold it for a year. But most of them, they've got, 200, 300, 400K, but they're wanting to put it into multiple deals within a short,
Right.
longer than EMD, but not a year. That's
Yes.
that's not what they're doing at all. 6 months,
Borrowers,
7 is the max.
borrowers have to be asked to understand that the people that have the money want their money working, and they don't
Yes.
want
Right.
it tied up. And
Yes.
the people that I know that have money, when I ask them for $100,000, for me to offer a measly, 15 or 20%, they can turn $100,000 into $200,000 in a year. And why
Right.
would they, be fine with taking less than that? Why would I ask them to take less than that? So
Right.
I need to do something that's appealing to them and make it mutually beneficial.
Right. It's a
Exactly.
win
That's what we want to
situation
do.
for everyone involved is what you're wanting to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I'm asking new people for money, the first question I ask them is, what type of return are you getting now? Because I want to offer them a better return than there are for their money. That way you can negotiate between the borrower and the lender and keep the difference in the spread we're going to do if we're connected to deals.
20%, Zeke, 20%.
20, okay, thank you.
Yeah, 20%, because again, like Willie said, even if it's $2,000, $200 ain't worth your time on a $2,000 deal. Okay,
Right.
so the minimum, and none of the people that sent me their paper, it was a different number. And I can't see 10% on $1,000. Why would you even go? It cost me more than that just to cycle the paperwork through. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I offer my suggestions to Sean. I'm using you now as an example. I got this deal, $2,000. Hey, you had 10%. I said, let's go on 20%. You know, we got to go on. We got to make this worth your while for you giving your money up. And it's not free. And what I've been finding is that's what people want us. They want to come to us, but they don't want to pay. Okay. They don't want to pay the return. So again, we're kicking crabs in a bucket because I mean, I'm not going to sit and argue with you all day when I say the rate is 20% and you're saying, oh, well, what about 15? I said 20. It's not 15, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the minimum,
You're not going to negotiate with like a lender.
I'm not, no.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, and it's and a gap isn't like rinse and repeat like EMD where you could actually do it over and over and over and over and over and over. It's going to be like if you have 100,000, you might do it once or twice a year. You're not going to be doing it a whole lot of times, especially at 6 months. I'd rather have it at 3 to 6 months because at that point, just go get a second, regular second loan.
Right.
Regular second position loan instead of gap, then you might pay less. But there's also lenders, not a lot of lenders are doing that right now either. So I think that's the important thing is just we got to emphasize to people like, and we're still obviously, Gwen, you made a good point. We're still kind of working some of the glitches and working this out. It was a new thing, and it's like, we talked about it. It's a great program, and I'm thinking, I wanted to do the EMD. We've had this conversation. Gap was kind of not something I was really. I'm not. When I brokered, I never had to deal with Gap because it's like, I brokered it. It was in the lender's hand. Boom. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the money. Gap is something that's really kind of come into. So is the EMD. A lot of people even talk shit about it. Like, hey, if you don't have the money, you shouldn't be in real estate anyway. Those kind of arguments. On the other hand, I feel like for our group, it's one of the benefits of being able to be in the group is being able to access some money to help you out to scale. And some people need to get started. So I'm really happy with it, but I think we got to just keep emphasizing to people, and everybody across the group has to tell people, guys, you're asking people to put money up for 6 months. That's a long time. It's EMD is different. And if you can go in there and you can, you can go fund a deal on Tuesday, you might get your money back Wednesday, and you might be able to fund a deal on Thursday. Things like that. We're trying to. That was the whole idea. Gap is awesome though, but I think it's just one. I didn't want to get too much out of the group as far as people borrowing. I wanted to mostly, hopefully, try to keep a lot of it in the group. I know there's some people because I get hit up. You guys can imagine I get hit up every day from people. I get people that like, hey, let me get a couple of deals through you, and then I'll join the group. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Right. And I've been getting that too with people with the gap funding. A guy have $100,000, but he's only wanting to spend $5,000 at the beginning until he gets comfortable, right? Comfortability is going to come in time, right? As long as I keep telling you, your money is secured. I promise your money is secured. It don't come to me. It goes directly to the title company. And then it comes back to you. It's on the settlement statement and all of that, right? So your money is as secure as if we were in the FDIC, without, them stealing our money, closing the bank accounts or whatever the case may be, right? But that's the only assurance that I can keep giving everyone. Again, they just have to follow the process. And I guess I'm gonna stop beating this horse. I just have one last thing. If they're looking for gap and or EMD, we have forms. I'm not watching all 15 of the groups. I'm not watching all of them.
Oh.
So I'm not going in to see who's looking. I seen one today. Someone is looking for $20,000. Nate has already said, contact me, again, I'm gonna say it in the recording. I am not tracking, I'm not in each of the groups every day. So either you hit me in direct messenger on Facebook, we can communicate, but fill out the form. That's the easiest way. Fill out the form, send it to me via email, and then I will reach out to you.
Well, tell me if tell me if I misread that post, because I saw that post and he wants $18,000, and I don't think he wants it as gap funding or EMD. I think he really just wants some sort of joint venture or somebody that is willing to throw $18,000 at a deal that's not secured by
We're not going to
title.
do that. We're going to follow
Yeah,
the
I
whole
think it was more,
process.
Sean, I think it was more Gap because he actually did hit me up
Was he?
before he
Okay.
posted that.
Okay.
I think it was Gap, and I think he's only been a couple. Yogi's good. I mean, I like him.
Okay.
He knows what he's doing. It was me really telling him, Glenn, I'll actually take responsibility for him posting that because I'm trying to get people to work the group. I mean, work in the group because you guys can imagine a lot of people come to me and start asking. I'm like, work the group because that's what it's for. Everybody, you got people you can do deals in. So I'll take responsibility for him posting that because I kind of said, hey, go in and post that in the group. And I didn't know, I saw it later on. I'm like, okay, yeah, he posted it. Didn't say it didn't come out the way that when he told me in that, the Gap, and I'm not going to blame anybody for that. So, because I'm
It's
trying to get
fine.
guys, for anybody that's watching that's not on the net, I'm trying to get everybody to work the group. Learn who's doing what. You come on the Zooms, you know who's doing what. If people aren't coming on the Zooms and stuff, I mean, at this point, I can't. I mean, we're doing 2 of these a week. We're only going to miss a couple of weeks because of the holidays, but guys, we're putting out all the information on how to work the group, and that's the best thing you guys can do. I mean, literally, I'm trying. That's why I try to set it up because the time that I'm spending a lot during the day is I'm trying to get this stuff for agents gather. I'm trying to get all the content, but get ready so I can just start overloading agents gathers all this content, things like that. So we can really because then we can start. Once we all link together and everybody's on there, we can start blowing it up. Danny's going to SEO the crap out of it, and everybody's going to have people coming to them to their posts on there because it's going to be like, if you're doing Indianapolis real estate, you're going to be ahead of Zillow and Realtor.com and all that stuff. Danny's in a unique market where we are at Evergreen. He has to compete. I mean, he's a small one-man brokerage, and it's with luxury homes. He has to compete, with the big, we have Sotheby's because Evergreen's a very affluent town. So we have Sotheby's, we have Berkshire Hathaway. I mean, not just the normal Remax and Keller Williams type. We have a very, so he's really good. He's actually able to, if you go look at Evergreen Colorado real estate, Danny comes up in that first 4 or 5 pages every time. So he's going to do the same thing for everybody in the group, guys. If you're in there, he's going to SEO the crap out of it. That's what's going to bring people to us as a group and to you guys as individuals, because they'll be coming out. They're looking to buy a house in Indianapolis. They're looking to do something in Atlanta. They're going to come to those posts, So, and I think our group's pretty spread out around the country. I think we've pretty much got almost everything covered. There's a few areas here and there, but that's what I just wanted to re-emphasize too. That we want to try to work together in the group and work with each other as partners. That's why I called it associates. Like lenders, I'm telling everybody, lenders is the same. The lenders paid. I mean, Life Changing paid. They have 5 or 6 people on there. Now that they have Tam and Willie, you're working with them and stuff. So, so all the lenders, stuff, everybody paid equally. So that's what we wanted to create, that equal ground where you don't have to worry, hey, these people actually paid to be here just like you guys did. So
Yeah.
hopefully.
So on the gap funding and EMD, are we allowed to bring borrowers that aren't in the group?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
the EMD was more or less trying to bring some wholesalers in because I thought if we can use it in the group, but obviously if we can bring wholesalers in, that we need more wholesalers. They could bring you guys deals. That's
right.
a great way for us to kind of start getting some of these people away from the people telling them to cloud titles and do all the stuff you guys know that wholesalers love to do. We want to bring a lot of wholesalers in and give them that access. Come in, use you guys to make money with them, and then they can bring you deals because you're gonna be able to see the quality deals. If they're bringing good deals, you guys want to fund their EMD. then pretty soon you're gonna have those. You're gonna be able to, hey, I can get properties from that wholesaler. You know, it's not just like Privy and stuff like that. You know, Privy's awesome, but yeah, we're trying to bring more wholesalers in, bring them in. You know, like I said, obviously you guys know, like I said, I posted that we're gonna be reopening and we're gonna be going to a different price level. And if you bring somebody into the group as a paid member, you know, starting in January, and we do bring them in at that 1,500 level, I'm gonna give you guys like $500 per person. So it takes one person, one referral, and you guys are your 399s repaid and you're $100 in the black. And I'll do it on
Oh.
Cash App. So there's like $1 fee on Cash App. I know I just sent my mom like $380 the other day, and it's like she was like, it's only 50 cents to send it. I was like, there's different than that in PayPal.
Well, so I know, Nate, like you just talked about like the geographic kind of synergy that we have. This is why I think kind of that little breakdown sheet of, you know, what people have available as far as lending goes, because if we can create a synergy between products as well, like, you know, a big exit strategy, a big use of Gap is to, you know, get that done, get that rehab done, and get out into a DSCR. So if we can know who has, you know, short-term seasoning for the DSCR, then it's a whole lot easier to pull out. And especially, you know, wanting to keep that under 6 months, you know, now we know exactly, you know, hey, you're going to go through here for your hard money and, you know, for your Gap. And now, you know, once you get it done and you get at least, you know, tenants in there after 60 days or 30 days, or based on market rents, you know, whatever somebody's trying to do, and having kind of that information available would be a great thing. And that, to a certain extent, that goes with maybe like some general terms of what everybody's offering for the Gap, you know, like how many points, you know, everything's going to be, just so we can be a little bit transparent and know where we're heading with things.
Yeah, I plan to get a lot of that done during the break.
Well, a lot of,
You can do that, but the thing of it is, it all gets down to deal specifics. Each deal is different, and that's what you have to do. You're going to have to fill out the forms, get them to Gwen. Gwen can do some research, get it zeroed in, and then you can take it from there. You're going to have a lot better luck at this a lot quicker if you go that route. And then you don't have to comb through a whole lot of information to get that done. That's what she does. If you got people that do lending and you're comfortable with them, talk to Gwen, get her comfortable with them. She's putting together a database of all these different people that do different things for different people in different places on different deals. It's a matrix, okay? And she has the capabilities and talents of being able to do this. This is what she does. This is what she's been doing for over a decade and a half, okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Better than that. So,
no, and I'm not trying to.
Yeah, fill out the forms, give them to her, and get with her. Period.
I mean, I'm gonna,
so 100%. I'm talking about simply giving people the idea to kind of pencil things in. Like, absolutely, it's going to be a general thing, but when people are running their due diligence, you know, and underwriting before they ever even make an offer, to have some sort of idea of, okay, it's usually about this, so I should be able to, you know, this is roughly what my numbers will be, and that'll give them enough go, no go criteria when you're underwriting things without wasting everybody's time.
No, and I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of it during the break, you know, because we're going to take the, you know, starting the 18th through we're not going to be back till January. So I'm going to do a lot of that during the break and get, you know, I'll get in touch with all the lenders and try to make sure that we got everybody, you know, and I'm trying to, like I said, we're trying to get lenders to come on Mondays. I mean, Casey's been good about being on Wednesdays. He's been really good about being on Wednesdays. I'm trying to get his bosses, you know, to come in and, you know, get Ryan and get, you know, and Clint on, as well as Addison, because Addison's a guru on, she knows DSCR. Like, I mean, Tam kind of knows it too. I'm trying to get Tam on here. Those guys have some great programs. So we want to, so Tom, like I said last week, I'm going to try to get all that done during the break. So when we come back, you know, we have it, because there's not going to be a lot going on 2 weeks from today. Obviously, it's Christmas, but you know, we're not going to be, it's going to give me some time to get everything there organized. And I really don't want to use a lot of the Facebook group, because it's very, I think Agents Gather, I can make everything look a lot better. And Danny's going to build a couple subgroups there for us in that group. And I've posted that link. You know, we have 2 groups. I have 2 private money associates. One is going to be kind of like our Facebook group, but we can build that out. And then I started another one that's just going to be all videos. That way nobody's going to have to go scroll through all, because you guys know when I post this video tonight, 10 people will post stuff and you'll have to scroll. And I used to be able to put it in that section chats, doesn't really work. I mean, it's there. There's like 40 videos there that we started in January. I think I stopped posting there in August. So starting in January, I'm gonna post, and I'm doing it now. I'm gonna probably make about 20 videos just independently, and I'm gonna be able to post those in Agents Gather Clean. There's not going to be very much, filler. That's going to be all in the other groups. So there are 2 private money associates groups on Agents Gather, and that's good. And I'm using those. I'm going to hashtag I have a public group as well. I'm going to at my blog, and I'm going to hashtag the crap out of it, trying to help you guys bring people to you guys. I'm trying to find some more lenders just to have backups. I know Life Changing seems to have pretty much every kind of lending program there is. I mean, literally, I don't think they have accredited, I don't think they can do syndications and stuff, but, and then we got Cameron's program. I know Simi's got some stuff. Gabe's got some stuff. We have a lot of stuff. So we want to try to work the group. That's a big key, is work the group. And you guys, everybody that's here, that's on right now, comes on these things. You guys know, I'm sure, I think Doris is back at the dentist again, unfortunately, but you guys know, I mean, there's some people that have literally made 90% of the Zooms. Those are the people that know what's going on. It's people that don't come on these regularly, or kind of, they're gonna kind of leave themselves behind. I'm gonna do what I can to make it, to try to reach out to them, make sure that we get everybody caught up, because I want everybody to know, like I said, Tom, I want everybody to know exactly who to go to for what. That's the whole idea of the group. Is just trying to get a little bit better, and that's on me. So I'm gonna get that done over the break.
But one thing I wanna just piggyback off of what Thomas said is, because any client, and Willie, you can chime in if I misspeak or whatever, but if you're coming to me for EMD and or Gap funding, you should have already had your funding source, which was your exit strategy, which it could have been a fix and a flip, a DCSR, or whatever, right? That's not for me. That's not for me to control that aspect, right? You should already have that in place. You're saying, when I need this $100,000 for 6 months to cover X, Y, and Z, right? But your exit strategy is your exit strategy. I can't do anything about that. All I can do is communicate with the lender, and it depends on who that lender is, if they would even allow us to send this money on the behalf of that client. That's what a lot of lenders don't accept this creative lending that we do. A lot of the lenders won't take that money, won't allow us to put it into escrow. I have had to turn down a couple of deals because they want the money in I'm choked up. They wanted the money in the buyer's banking account. I'm not putting nobody money in no banking account.
Nope.
So it's I'm doing the best that I can. And again, I know what I'm doing, and I just know how far we can go if we follow the process. As far as transparency, I don't have nothing to hide. I know who has. If everybody had all of the sources, you wouldn't need me, right? I'm the gatekeeper of the process. I know Willie got 20 grand. I know Nate got 100 grand. I know Thomas got 100 grand. So that's the most important part, is Gwen know who I need to go to get this money.
Because guys, when you guys saw me making those posts, and I had people coming to me that were, I basically just sent them the form and send them to Gwen, and she'll do the call with you. She'll onboard you. I mean, I'm trying to, like, at that point, kind of focus on these other things. That helps me. It kind of helps us spread our talent. Our human.
I just want to make sure that we all have clear expectations, because we have been going through this, as you know. I ain't been on the calls because it's just been like too much for me to comprehend, right? But we need true expectations on what we expect from everyone in this group, or everyone outside of the group that you may bring in order for this to work and be beneficial for everyone's time. Because the TC hat is not the only hat. I got my own brokering business as well, that I broker deals and things like that. But if I have to sift through all of your paperwork, I'm not getting my own company business done, and you're not adhering to the process. So I just ask everyone to be respectful of the process. And if it's something that you deem that is not working for you, it just doesn't work for you. But just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean that it doesn't work for the next person.
Yeah, and guys, like I said, Gwen's, she's getting a lot of stuff. So if you guys do have questions or something, or just reach out to me too about it, because I mean, I'm in touch with a few people. I'm trying to figure if I can custom tailor. If we get this to work, I can custom tailor. I can go get a lot of money. I've had a lot of people who want to see more of a finished product. Because I'm transparent in that I tell people that want to fund money. This is a newer thing, but it's a closed group. It said we know everybody in our group, so it makes it a little easier. But there are people legitimately that want to see it. Hey, you guys have a little bit more experience getting these things funded and done. I mean, because we can have all the money in the world. It's still like Gwen said, it's a process. It's having to do the right forms. It's having to work with the lenders on their end. It's having to, because not every lender, like she just said, there's some issues. There's people that have come in and they want to. It's crap. I mean, it's like you guys see all this. That's what I got frustrated for when I was brokering. I got frustrated because I just had so many people to compete with that were maybe not unethical. That might be the wrong word, but I think just they got bad. You guys see my posts about gurus and stuff. I think a lot of people are filled with, it's the gurus are bad enough, but there's unethical people. But I think a lot of people get what I call that noise. You guys know damn well you post something in a group like Jim's old group, and man, you'd get 100. You go to that wholesaling group. There's that wholesaling group with like 80,000 people in it. I'm in that group. I had to clear my notifications. I cannot believe some of the bullshit that people say in those groups. You guys know it, and so it's frustrating for me, and that's why I said this group is awesome, because I think we give out good information to each other. And I try to bring in. Hopefully, I think we got a pretty broad. I mean, there's a few areas I think we could use some people more on the, because we don't have a lot of people doing syndications in those kind of multifamilies. So that's why I said if somebody wants to do a multifamily, I'm going to try to go, hey, go take Rod Cleef's free 2-day thing that I posted. We want people to, yeah. I mean, if you're doing that, that's great. That's awesome, Tom. I think, doing syndications and all that. But like I said, if I have somebody that's got no experience and they want to do it, I can send him to you, but I'm going to send him to Rod Cleefs, because he does a lot of free virtual summits and workshops, and he's doing one this week, Wednesday and Thursday. You can't beat that. Like I said, I paid $1,500 to go to his 4-day thing in 2019. It was well worth it. I mean, you leave with a stack of stuff like this thick. A lot of people are like, how they're going to get that in their luggage. I only had to drive across town to go home, but I'm trying to give you guys a lot of those resources as well. Like, one of the securities attorneys she's doing another free thing in January. So as soon as she releases the registration, you guys can sign up and, talk to Jillian. Will do another 2-hour Zoom. And if you guys have a chance to talk to a securities attorney just once, and you can ask questions where you don't have to pay them $500 an hour, it's well worth it. So we're trying to get, and so that's what I spend a lot of my time doing during the day on behalf of you guys, is trying to find resources and trying to find like things you guys can even. I think Doris did pay the $47 for one of Rod's things. I mean, the $47 to get to spend a day on virtual with Rod and his team is like worth it. I mean, it's because I paid, like I said, I paid $1,500 as a 4 days, but so I'm trying to find more resources for you guys, a lot more stuff, get a lot more stuff cleaned up. Some of the stuff I have, I have to get a few things cleaned up. The wholesale contracts got turned somehow. Like they're like a little off-centered, if you guys notice that. So I always tell people just copy and paste, and then just go to Word and just copy and paste it into Word, and then you got it fixed. So some of the stuff kind of came out a little crooked. But yeah, we want to make this work. We want it to be a real good benefit, having EMD and having Gap and having these life-changing, and Cameron's programs. You guys saw that Cameron and got a deal done with Drew Michael. So that was a pretty good deal. Well, you probably were in on that. That's a pretty solid deal, guys. And I know you guys probably have a pretty good queue right now, I'm sure, on that. A lot of people have taught. I know we're trying to reach out to you guys. That's a great program. That's
It's a great program. He's using me, not using me, but we partnered in the way of I vet the deal. I vet the people, answer their questions, get them to fill out the form, and then he compensates me in that way because he's a busy man.
Oh,
He doesn't have all these tire kickers that have 400 FICO and all that. So I get on the phone with them, I talk to them, answer their questions, and then at that point I send him the form. He sends a welcome email, and we're good to go. I think in the last week, I think I closed like 6 people on that deal, and once they really know it's real or they get their questions answered, they were like, "How is this not widespread?" And I was like, "It is. He's been on the Zooms. He's been advertising it. You guys are just non-believers to someone putting all the pieces that you need together." That's how I explained it to him. We give you guys all the tools you need. It's just up to you to use them. We can't force you. I'm just giving you guys some information. If you think it's unbelievable, then do it yourself. Go find you a lender. Go find you a private money lender that's offering 0% interest for 5 years. If you find them, please call me back and I'll
let me know where they at.
Yeah, I will pay you because
and Kevin,
doing that.
Kevin can attest that 3 years ago, Cameron was just that's a smart for to be his age and be kind of putting those kind of deals together. I mean, that guy,
Yeah,
he didn't
with any grass grow under his feet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, man, he's on top of it. Hey, Yogi, welcome. Yogi just got here, guys, so maybe we can talk to him about that deal. Yogi, hey, we were just talking about your posts and stuff like that, trying to figure it out. Gwen's on now if you want. Yeah, Gwen's on now if you want to, if you want to talk about getting the paperwork, that she needs the form, and I could.
Yeah, see, with it, it's not. It's the investor I have getting the property, so that's something we have to figure out. I don't know exactly how it works. So basically, he's working with Casey. Everything got approved with Casey. He got 85% and 100% of rehab, and he actually has front loaded the loan. There's $10,000 in there above and beyond our sales price that he's going to get back. He has, I think, 22,000 of his own. Casey said that they need to show 40, I believe it was. So we're trying to find him like 18 for like a few days. I just put for a week just to be safe, and then try and have it return for 20, because he obviously he looked at Gap and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to do that. That's $6,000 or whatever." But if I can't figure out how to help him, like this house ends up going to foreclosure. These people are screwed, and he loses out on $13,000 because that plus his EMD.
Okay.
Okay,
He's
you said
he's
that.
gonna probably need to offer a little bit more than $2,000.
Absolutely.
He's getting 13K back to keep the house
Absolutely.
for him to long-term profit. I mean, it's gonna cost you money to wire the money, and that 2K isn't just something someone is like, "Oh, okay," even if it's for a day or two. It sounds good, but 18K is still a lot of money for someone to have out, even if it's for a day. So what information should be posted when you're lending for money is, how is the money secured? How long will you need it? And what is 1 and 2 exit strategies to pay back these lenders? And with that information, someone can say whether or not they think they can do it or not. But if you just post 18, that's like it's too vague. So in a lot of groups I'm in, which are Guru or whatever, if you post a money lending need without that information, they're not even going to let you. They're not even going to allow you to post it. It needs to be what the money's for, how long you need it, what position is it in, how long is the money needed for, and 2 exit strategies. And if you have some experience, if you don't post those details, they're not even going to post it. They're going to damn near flag you, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Yeah, and he's got experience and stuff. And the 2X strategies he obviously has is the idea is for him to keep it, right? Because he's going to put it in his portfolio. So he's going to refinance out of it. Or he said if it came down to it, he could just put it on the market and sell it.
Cool. I mean, that's a great strategy.
If he puts it on the market, he's not going to sell that in 2 weeks.
No. And then if he puts it on the market, and he's using the realtor, he's automatically out of 6% right there from jump.
Now, did you say he's getting $10,000? Is he getting $10,000 at closing?
Yeah, he's getting it back because it's front loaded on the front end.
So he's going to offer 4 to 5K as a return for 18K. And
so
you might get a nibble on that. That in a week, for a week, someone will probably, maybe, possibly jump on that. But two grand, I'd go to the casino.
But even if he had sent it to me, that 2 grand wouldn't have been enough, right? Because again, the minimum on EMD right now is going at 20%. So I'm at $3,600 on $18,000, right?
Gotcha.
To Willie's point, we need to be around. We need to make it beneficial for Sam giving him this money, you know, and they're insulting these investors when they saying that, oh, you give me 18 grand, but I'm only giving you $2,000. You know what I mean? This ain't that type of I mean, we ain't loan sharking, right? But we're making it beneficial for those that's investing their time and money. And Willie, to your point, I'm glad you said something about the wires, because the wires, depending on the bank, is $45, right? That's $45 that Willie is spending just to send you that money that he's not even charging and or recouping back, because we didn't think to add the wire fees into that scenario, you know.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely. Yep.
Yeah, so those is things that we really have to be mindful and consider when we're putting deals out, to Willie's point.
On the
So if I
EMD that we fund, on the EMD that we fund, personally, we charge anywhere from a 3 to 5% upfront fee. That fee is non-refundable, but it does go toward the return if the deal closes. We're getting better clients because it shows they got some skin in the game, and it covers wire fee and some of our TC fee.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So would it make sense to present him to try and run through and get EMD for it then, you think? Or
how will the, so it's really not an EMD deal, but you could say short-term loan, money will go through title. It is a transactional loan, but it's not EMD. I mean, it's a refundable. How is the money protected if
the deal don't close?
Right, Casey and them have the deal, right? But lenders pull out all the time. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So at this point, say I put up the 18K. What happens if all of a sudden this guy buys a car, then the loan doesn't close? What happens to my 18K? How do I recoup that?
Good point. Good point. That's why I'm here to learn from the masters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
fine.
that's what I said, and like I said, you know, I'm not as EMD is easy for me. It's like, but Gap is something I've never done, so this is a new territory. Luckily, we have Glenn. Willie's been dealing with a lot, so that was the form, Yogi. So I said you can just, you know, that's in the files tab. You can pull up the Gap investor, the Gap intake request, and send it to Glenn to have your client, or you fill it out with them. If you have questions, you can ask Gwen, but you know, she can get it. She can match it up because it's basically a match thing to like what return rate you know. If your scenario is able to do 3,600 or 20%, then she can pretty much has people to do that. We've kind of allowed people who are funding it to kind of get a return that they want. Now we're not out there looking to do like 50%. I know the Gators or some of those people are doing that. That's ridiculous. You know, but I mean, we're trying to be like 20, 25, 30. I mean, it's still got to be, there's a little bit of, you know, it's not risky, but it's a little bit of still of a new territory for a lot of people.
Right.
So yeah, that's the form. Like I said, Gwen's on now and Willie, so you can, you know, if you want to get with them or something or her and, you know, talk to your client. Because we want to get done. We want to. Yeah, and we were talking earlier. We want everybody to work the group. We want everybody to come in and problem solve and use the Facebook and use Agents Gather and all that stuff to work together to kind of solve each other's problems. Because we have a lot of experience. Our human resource talent is, I mean, as much as like I said, it probably is $30,000 of everything that I've paid for that I've put in the files tab without my time. But you guys, the human resource talent is probably worth 30, 50 times that. We've got a lot of experience, a lot of people. To help each other.
Yeah, so I'll get with him and see what he wants to do. And it's like someone told me the other day, and they had a really valid point. I think Ari's in here. I think I talked to him, and he's like, you know, something to think about and tell him. My buyer is like, don't worry about what everybody else is making. As long as you can still get your money, even if he made $5 grand, that's $5 grand more than you had to begin with. And I was like, well, you know what? that's kind of a good way to look at it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so that's something I'll get with him on. I'm just really trying to save these people from the headache with the house now, because I got myself wrapped into it, helping somebody else move it, and this guy drug his butt, and because he thought he had a lender that he worked with before, but for some reason they, just like Willie said, they didn't get back to him and lost like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then finally said they weren't going to do the deal. So then Casey and I got on with him and he got it done, and then now he just needs to show a little bit more. I was like, bro, just get somebody to borrow you for the night, you know what I mean, just to show it. He's like, I don't have anybody. I'm like, maybe you don't need to buy this house then, man, but I hate to say that because you're really hurting a lot of people because you did this, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
the whole thing is, you know, in time, the way that this group is running, in time, everybody's gonna, like we were just talking before you got here, Tom brought up the point, we're gonna try to make sure that everybody knows what, it's not as easy with the EMD and Gap. Gwen has a good, obviously, she knows who has the money, she knows how to match it, that's what kind of leaving it up to her expertise there. But I'm gonna be putting together, like trying to put together all the other lenders who are in the group. You know, people, you know, obviously you've been here for a few weeks, there's people who've been here for months. We want to get people on the Zooms because then you actually get to talk to everybody. You know who's doing what, you know who's the lender, you know who's doing what. And so,
and that's why I'm here too, to figure it out
No.
because like I've done wholesaling for a while, for like 3.5 years, and then just really started to understand this money side of things too. And things like with the lenders, and we could get someone nailed down, like Casey and I were talking about it, with them doing no doc and no credit. If I can get a property and I push it out to a buyer, be like, this property's already approved, but then they just got to put in their 2 cents and show their expertise and their experience, it'll be a lot easier to move some of these deals along that make sense.
yeah, exactly.
Now, Yogi, let me ask you, so you're saying that they need to show the additional $18,000 in who banking account? Because we don't put money in nobody personal and or business. So
That's
it
what
has
Casey
to go
brought up.
directly to escrow.
Yeah, he brought up that he needs to show an additional 18,000 in his account just to get the loan to close, I guess. So yeah.
So
Yes,
he's gonna need
You can get an escrow. You can get an escrow account for specific situations. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have you know, a real estate deal or anything else tied to it. You just have to contact an escrow company and set something up, even if it's temporary. The point being is we cannot allow anybody anywhere, any way, shape, or form money to go directly into an account because it could trigger all kinds of problems, not to mention flat out disappear. There's too many scammers out on top of this. So the whole point is Gwen knows where to go with this, and she can set all that up. And if he needs to show that there's $18,000 somewhere, it'll be in an escrow account. Then she'll just set it up in this escrow account, and there it is. And then hopefully everybody's good with that. The money didn't really have to go anywhere. It goes back, and you're paying a small fee for it. Hey, that works. But you still have to provide the information needed to make it work. And everybody needs to fill these forms out and get it with Gwen and let her coordinate everything, for crying out loud. All of our lenders in the group are getting together with her to kind of coordinate with what they have available. She's putting together a matrix that will make this almost seamless, but everybody has to be on the same page. And as she says, it's a process. That doesn't change. It's always been a process. We're just trying to make sense of it and make it simpler for everybody to use. And common sense dictates more successful deals this way than going about it with all these other gobbledygook people that think they got it all going on that don't know nothing about anything. That's what it comes down to. So Gwen's going to send her information if she hasn't already done so, because she's pretty on top of things. You just need to get with her and set this thing up. And then Willie's there too. That's another thing, you know. He's sitting here with different resources too.
The only way around that is in the gap funding. If lenders don't allow the private money, is the private money lender and the borrower
have to do a JV agreement and do an
form
operating
LLC
agreement.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have to redo
LLC.
all of that, and then that way that Willie can show the money because Willie is a part of that entity and all of that. Willie, to your point with saying that, it's still a lot of people that don't understand that could be done. I mean, it's nothing that we need to refile with the state or anything like that. It's just showing that you have some stake in this business. But a lot of things that you just said tonight is still unclear to maybe the most people that's in the group of really understanding how this process works. And I think that we, me, myself, you, whomever, is kind of spending more time educating these people rather than getting the deals done. Because even, I don't know, we need to start back at scratch one. You cannot do anything without a business entity, okay? So if you don't have an LLC, don't come talking to me because there's nothing that really I can do. You know, you got to have a business. I mean, come on, guys.
And we're gonna talk a lot about business entities on Wednesday, this Corporate Transparency Act, but literally first part of January, we're gonna start again with that because we do have a lot of new people and we do want to guide them through we have to do a couple things. We have to do a couple different things a couple times a year. We have to do scope of work a couple times a year. We have to do business entities a couple times a year. So we're gonna be able to do that. The good thing is now with Agents Gather, I'm gonna be able to build a lot of that stuff. So we won't have to we can just refer people over to it. And then if they have questions, we're still going to do Zooms. I mean, guys, remember we were going to, back in July saying we were going to be done with Zooms November 16th. Well, we're going to go year round. We're going to take like 2 weeks off every year for the holidays. We're going to take Memorial Day Monday off, the week of July 4th off, Labor Day Monday, those kind of things. But other than that, guys, we're going to be going like 42, 44 weeks a year, twice a week. So, but we have to go through those about 3 or 4 different things we have to do at least 2 or 3 times a year, maybe even quarterly, because we do have a lot of new people come in and we have a lot of people that, you guys, many of you guys have seen LLC fights when people say, do I need an LLC? And you guys damn well know, oh, you don't need an LLC. You're wasting your time. And, we sit there and you guys know that I'm a huge believer in Wyoming, and all that stuff. Not everybody has to do Wyoming. Doris kind of had to go back to her state because of her situation, but we want to make sure that we go through several things a year to help people, and then we give them the right information. And guys, it's like, you guys hear about being anonymous, you hear about all the tax benefits. COPE. You guys see my YouTube video on charging order protection entities. COPE is big, and Wyoming wrote the book on COPE laws. Like in Wyoming, you cannot.
Well, the problem with that, Nate, is this thing we're talking about Wednesday.
Kevin, okay, except I'm talking about the state, not the feds. Okay, but I'm talking about the state, not the feds.
I know, but the thing of it is, the federal government can basically do whatever they want. They trump the states and all that. And if they're taking that information, which is what they're going to be doing, it pretty much negates the whole reason for doing all that. So that's why we're talking about that Wednesday, to try to figure out what to do about it, because it's a serious threat. It's not just real estate. It's any LLC, corporation, or trust that's not already registered with the federal government one way or another. They're taking your information. They're taking your driver's license. They're taking your address. You got to keep up the information, including that, or you get fined and put in jail. Why? Well,
you guys would be surprised that there is actually jail time. There is actually federal prison time.
And we got to figure that out, because that basically throws the whole veil out. Because if you end up in federal court or in federal bankruptcy court, well, guess what? The whole reason for having that is so they can't get to your assets, because they can't get access to that. Well, the federal government now has it on file with FinCEN now. So that's no longer an issue. It just basically destroys the whole idea.
We'll talk about it on Wednesday night, because there's some things I still need to clarify before we talk about it.
There's a lot of things, and it doesn't matter if you're in real estate. Any company that's below 20 employees is affected. Any trust period is affected. The only ones that aren't are ones that already registered, like a 501c3.
We'll research it before we talk more about it, because I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
Yes, EMD in mutual release states, we have a document that we need to be using so we can make sure that the seller make sure that you get your money back. And I'm still trying to research, all of the mutual release states, and I'm gonna put them on my wall so we know what document needs to go per deal to the title company, because that's another document that goes to the title company as well, providing authorization that you get your money back. So yeah, I've been dealing with that too, and we definitely want to keep that in tune, because the ones that is not mutual release, you're gonna have a harder time getting your monies back.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
are there going to be any states that we really don't want to mess with because of that kind of a situation?
Not really. I mean, everybody got money that we want. We just
No,
need
it's
to
not
know
what I'm
what.
talking about. I'm talking about regulations from the state getting in the way of being able to
We
pull
just
things.
need to know what the regulatory license and stuff is, so we can then make a decisive decision at that point. Like I said, I'm going to spend time researching the mutual release states this week. This week is my last week on my W-2 until the first of the year. So I kind of got some time to dive into a lot of this stuff, so we'll know, okay, will you send me some for Wyoming? This document needs to go along with the JV agreement, because this is saying this is how I'm getting my money back, and the seller is going to, sign off on it, and that goes over to over to the title company. Like, we know that California is a beast in itself, right?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And everything.
That's exactly what I was getting at.
I mean, them in Arizona, I mean, like, have mercy. What did you people? But if we know how to work around certain things, then we can get things done. It's all about knowing everything up front, so I can make that executive decision. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening out there. Colorado's going to be doing a wholesaling.
That's another disaster in the making. I've been seeing that and watching that unfold, and I'm like, how in the world is anybody going to get anything done in that state for real estate? Let alone they got to do with the taxes, because they can't even tax people properly anymore in that state. It's upside down.
Yeah, California sucks. I don't know.
They're trying to be another California is what they're trying to do there, and they just don't have the reason. They can't pull it off because they're not big enough.
Oh, you're talking about here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're I mean, I kind of have an inside view of in a way, because my brother's in the state legislature. But yeah, they got a bunch of other stuff they got to work on that they're before that. Anything with real estate, they got a bunch of, not gonna really get into it because
it's way upside down, to say the least.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of other stuff they've got to fix.
That's what I'm saying. That state is way upside down now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know we have this thing called Tabor. We have this thing called
basic
Tabor.
Stuff is hard to do.
Guys, we have this thing called Tabor in Colorado called Taxpayer Bill of Rights. Like, literally, you get money back, and your property. They put it on the ballot, and it was like to basically give up the Tabor bill, the Tabor refund this year and next year, whatever, in lieu of, so you get it. Well, so you get you get your property tax cut or whatever. Well, the voters said only. I mean, literally, it went down to defeat by like 40%. Then the legislature just had a special session and just went ahead and did it anyway. My brother voted no, but he was kind of outvoted on that. So it's kind of sucks, we used to get money back every year off now I don't know what's going to happen on that, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So Wednesday, that's why I'm happy we're the EMD and Gap tonight. It's our time. We can really focus Wednesday night on, guys, if you have deals to talk about, of course, we'll still talk about deals on Wednesday, but I do want to spend at least the first hour maybe talking about the Corporate Responsibility Act. And I've got to research it. Kevin sent me some stuff. I've researched some stuff. I pulled up things.
Yeah, you got that copy of that thing. You need to go ahead and send it to everybody.
Yeah, I'll send it, but I've also FinCEN's another government agency that I didn't know existed until last week. I'm like, wow, here's another agency that I never heard about. Like, the government is setting up, FinCEN.gov. Yep. You guys can go to them. It's like it's a sub department of the Treasury.
Yeah. FinCEN been around for a long time. That's why they be watching.
I know, but I mean, I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
It's like if you're 9/11 when all these agencies went together for Homeland. It's like Coast Guard went, all this. So it's like, who the hell? All these agencies just kind of are in there, and I at the time, you guys know, that was when I had my fire chief job, and I did a lot of stuff with FEMA, and FEMA got just jacked because of Homeland Security, because it used to be a standalone. They had to, it was kind of a weird situation. Yeah, I think we pretty much answered that. Like I said, so Yogi, if you want to, yeah, on your deal, if you want to get with Glenn, that, maybe even Willie, they can kind of help you get that deal kind of figured out for your client.
Definitely. Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and if you got any questions, I know. So, yeah, we're gonna be doing that. So we're gonna be doing corporate responsibility on Wednesday, guys. And like I said, then we're taking next week we'll do some stuff, and then we're gonna take 2 weeks off. I think everybody could kind of use a break a little bit. You guys know that doesn't mean, I mean, outside of Christmas Day, I'll be available still, like I always am. I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be working on a lot of content for you guys. I need you to just make sure if anybody's on, whether you're watching or you're on tonight, make sure you try to get your Agents Gather account set up. Like I said, you got to just do the 99 cents. Let Danny know you're in, and he will upgrade you to premium for life. And it's incredible. You get a blog and a group and all that stuff, and you do the hashtags and the markdown and all that stuff. Work with him until he can take advantage of it, guys. 3 or 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, he may be too busy, to be able to do this. So it's a huge benefit to us. He's going to help everybody do SEO, and you can drive traffic back to your Facebook. If you have a website, you can drive traffic to your website. You can do the hashtags. If you go on, you see how he does the hashtags. He puts the hyphens in. He puts the first letter of each word in capital. Google finds it, indexes it. Boom, you're on the first page of Google. So that'd be awesome. That's a huge, huge advantage. Bring people to you rather than you having to find people. People come in and bring deals to you all the time. Like I said, just avoid talking about 0%, because he got flagged by Stripe. They sent him a notice saying, "Oh, you can't do this." You can do it when you're getting like constant 24/7 real time, hundreds and thousands of indexes. You can do that, but when it's slow, it picks up on it. So, if you guys have any questions, just reach out to Danny. So I know he's got his son back from college this week, so he's spending some time with his kids. Other than that, guys, I really don't have anything unless anybody has any questions. I think we had a pretty good discussion on EMD and Gap. Like I said, and then just like I said, the biggest key right now is work the group and learn who the players are and who does what. Because it's like, that helps, all of us, because even sometimes, we've had people that have been in the group for a while, and even I forget exactly what they did when they joined. They may have been 6 months ago, or what they wanted to do. It's hard to sometimes keep up. I mean, I never want to have a group like this that has thousands of people, because even for me, I wouldn't be able to, I'm going to try to keep it manageable, but yeah, so if anybody has anything, we can talk about it. If you want to talk off camera, I can off camera, off recording, I can turn the recording off.
Hey, Gwen, did you say that Arizona's a pain in the butt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just give it an example. Yes, they could be a tad bit difficult, like California. It's Arizona, California. Oh, I want to borderline say Utah. It's a couple of them that are just a little bit more difficult than others. But again, we can do the research. I just need to find out which states are the mutual release states. That's the most important thing.
You're talking for wholesaling side.
I'm talking wholesaling, EMD Gap Funding, because we need to make sure that Tom get his money back. The seller don't say, because after inspection period, they could deaden the deal and they can run off with your cash, right? This agreement says that the title company only releases that money back to you, whom had made the depository.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I just you said that, and there's a deal I'm gonna go after just after the new year, because I'm closing on one now, and then I'm gonna go after another one. But I was gonna use some of the funds, hopefully use some of the funds available in the group and the lenders and things like that. So good to know that Arizona's pain in the butt. I will reach out early.
Yeah, try to we'll research it too. And guys, the good thing, and going to test, I got to her on another deal that kind of was starting to go a little bit south, and I reached out to Paul Vincent. You guys know Paul Vincent's a real estate and securities attorney. Paul has Sidekick Capital. His company does a lot of EMD. Paul
Yeah, I
told me
gotta meet
that
with him this week. I
That's
meet with him. I'm networking with him as well as an additional. And
Paul.
sorry, guys, I just keep my.
Paul
apologize to you,
Paul
Steve.
runs told me he runs it exactly like Gwen's setting it up to run it.
Yeah.
So, and this is
Yeah.
a guy that's he's one of the top real estate and security attorneys out there. He actually
Yeah.
joined Agents Gather. He's the first attorney on Agents Gather, so he hooked up with Danny. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys want to just want to tell you we tried to set this up exactly to mirror what he's doing because he's he knows what he's doing. I mean, he has the big deals. I'm trying to get Jillian on because Jillian happens to be the securities attorney for Grant Cardone. So I'm trying to get her on. She moved to Puerto Rico about a year ago with her husband and her kids, and I'm like, oh, it's weird. It's like she spends more time like singing in her husband's rock band. There's some good stories if you ever meet Jillian. I'm not going to go into it now. She has some great stories about when she dropped out of law school the first time to that was some funny shit. But yeah, so we're trying to bring a couple of attorneys on as well. But guys, like I said, Paul is he said he runs his gap program EMD just like we're gonna be doing it. So just to kind of let you guys know, and he knows what he's doing. So we'll get off that subject. Anybody have anything? I mean, like I said, it's just like I said, we're kind of in that point where everybody kind of needs a break at the end of the year. So
No,
I'm very
I don't have
mindful.
anything else. I'm good.
Okay. If anybody has anything, just feel free to reach out to me off, off the Zoom. I appreciate everybody's time tonight. And everybody's this is an important time of the year for families and stuff. So, hopefully we'll get everything together. We'll have 3 more sessions and then the 2-week break. So pretty happy. All right, guys. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.